What's up, Yins guys? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have a 2024 Mazda CX-90 all-wheel drive Premium Plus. The CX-90 is the new 6-passenger SUV, third row of the Mazda lineup. It comes with a new motor under the hood, some cool mild hybrid options, really nice interior. I'll show you guys later. As you can see, let's go for a ride. First impressions of the CX-90 when it was delivered to the house in the white paint job that it has and these brown interior seats. The first thing I noticed was I loved the characteristics of the outside. The exterior design on this is spot on. It's got great lines, smooth lines. It looks stout, it looks full. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, I think it looks like a BMW from the side. The front and side look like a BMW, and the rear looks like a Lincoln or a Ford. It has a lot of the similar characteristics of those two vehicles in this one vehicle from Mazda. The interior first impressions are luxurious, supple, soft, lots of good stuff inside, good tech, and very comfortable overall. But let's get into the real review. All right, Yins, standing outside the CX-90. Finally got my hands on this thing for a week, and it has been pretty awesome. What is the first thing you notice about this? Number one, it has the characteristic Mazda front end that they all have. But I like how thick it goes all the way back. That thickness goes all the way back. 20-inch wheels. Don't look out of place on this thing whatsoever. Love this bottom plate, this bottom sill piece. It has the Mazda logo on the bottom back there, and then it has a similar one up here that, what does it say? Inline 6. Look at the styling. BMW front end, Lincoln rear end. That's just my opinion, but that's how it looks to me. It has that stance. I really like how this back protrudes out a little bit. No bumper again, which I don't know if I'm a fan of that or not, but I just like the overall look and how the lights flow on both sides, and it mimics that on the bottom. You have the bottom where the dual exhaust would be, which there's no dual exhaust on this one, and then you have a trailer hitch as well. But I like it. I like how swoopy it is. I like how smooth it is. It cuts through the air. I like how all of the different accents are larger than life. So like the CX-9 before didn't have such a prominent front end. This, you can just tell when you look at this, it's a Mazda, and it's a big one. I like the signature lights, turn signals, running lights, and then your headlight. You have a projector on the top for your normal lights, and you have a high beam projector, and those high beams are solid. They really work well. Let's go inside. Hey Yins, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithm. It helps Car Dad Bill. I appreciate everybody watching. Let's get some more cars. All right, Yins, inside the CX-90, and look at this interior. Tell me that ain't sweet. The suede on the dash, the leather wrapped steering wheel, the vents, the door panels. Beautiful door panels, beautiful interior. It's a really nice place to spend time. You can see the dedicated buttons that I love, and the screen, and your digital display. So let's fire it up and show you guys what it's all about. Really sweet. You got your CarPlay up here. So everything up there from your phone down to the digital display up here that changes when you turn on the cruise control. You get a different view. When you turn the cruise control off, it goes back to the normal view. Your trip button here. And then these are all your info buttons on your steering wheel to tell you, to get you through the different menus that are on that screen up there. The rest of your little buttons for your seats, your trunk, and then these are all of your different systems The I-stop system we'll talk about when we get on the road. Suede on the doors. Different material up here. It's like a scratchy material up here. And then there's a little sill right here, little ledge, if you will. It goes up underneath. It's like a 3D dashboard. And I like that about new cars nowadays. They all have 3D dashboards with things that come out and go in and move about. And everything's integrated really well. This one has dull materials up top with a shiny screen. Then there's this completely fabric feeling suede on the dash, and then you have leather down below, and then back to the plastic again. I love it. Suede in the middle, leather on the sides. Everything's just blends together and it all looks good. I don't have any complaints on that. The thing I do have complaints on is this selector. I don't know why they decided to change it, but it's not intuitive. It's not intuitive. I don't know. It has been something that has bothered me the entire time that I've been driving it, and it hasn't gotten any easier, and I don't know why this is so hard for me to get around, but it is. This, however, is your control center for up there. So anything that you want to do on the screen, you need to toggle down here. And then here's your menu stuff, so you can go back to the home menu. It'll take you back to the actual Mazda. So that's how you control all of the options up top there. It's all through here. The volume, your favorites, the parking brake, and the auto hold are all down here. This comes with a Bose sound system, and the Bose sound system sounds great. Let's look in the back and in the trunk and take a look at everything else. Opening up the back door, back seats. Look how the door opens up super wide, and that's notable because not a lot of cars do that. So you have a lot of space, number one, to roll this forward so that people can get in, and an adult can fit back there, but they don't have anywhere to put their feet. That's the only problem with that third row, is it's literally for kids. One-handed, got the seat back to where it should be. Middle console with your normal stuff. This is one of those compartments that flips up on both sides. Nice HVAC layout back here and charging ports for the kiddos. Let's look at that third row. Coming to the back, reach up underneath, hit the button. Trunk opens up to a third row up trunk right now. So the third row's up. Everyone has seats, right? You have room for a catcher's bag, catcher's gear. If you slide it all the way to the side, you probably have room for a bag or two right here. Not bad. Put the seats down then, and now you have expansive space to put whatever you need. Look how big that space is now. With the third row down, you get an impressive amount of space to put whatever you need. You have charging and plug-in power back here. Lights, cubby holes, storage underneath here, some towing stuff. It's a good size, I have to say. Not terrible. Let's get on the road. All right, Chins, now it's that time in our video where we go over some of the numbers, some of the stuff. I got the Monroney for the manufacturer. You can see the 25 miles per gallon average that they say on that. But let's start from the beginning. 2024 Mazda CX-90 Premium Plus all-wheel drive. 3.3 liter inline turbo 6. 340 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. Let me start over again so you guys in the back heard me. 3.3 liter inline 6 turbo, 340, 369. Those are great numbers. All-wheel drive, 6-passenger, and 5,000 pound towing capability. So you have a 6-passenger Mazda all-wheel drive SUV. You can take your family and their stuff, and you can tow a trailer in the back up to 5,000 pounds. It has what's called an M hybrid boost, which is basically, without getting too technical, a mild hybrid setup. is what I would call it. They don't call it a mild hybrid. They call it M hybrid boost. What they say it means, what Mazda says, is it's basically an assist system that's in the engine. It's a little motor and a battery. The battery gets charged from kinetic energy while you're driving, braking, wheels turning, things like that. That power then gets put into the battery. The battery then energizes the electric motor. The electric motor assists the car during function. So it's not something you charge at home. It's not something that you need to charge anytime. It's just like a little bit of a mild hybrid setup within the Mazda. I like it. They say 25 miles per gallon average. CDB real MPG is 25.1. So it's not far off. And 25.1 in this size vehicle, I did a lot of urban, suburban driving this week, has been pretty good. 25 miles to the gallon is not terrible in this size vehicle. I know vehicles that we've tested in the past that are not SUVs that were not getting 25 miles to the gallon. So Mazda did good there. Bose sound system and the 8-speed automatic transmission. The 8-speed automatic transmission has been a complete non-factor for me during this time. It has driven like a dream. The transmission has shifted like a dream. It has been a non-factor. I haven't even realized it since I've had it, put it that way. MSRP, right? $61,920. Let me repeat that. $61,920. This is an expensive SUV, but it's a 6-passenger all-wheel drive Mazda with an inline 6. Let's get on the road and talk about the good and the bad. So we're gonna get on the road and talk about this good and bad, right? And the first thing is, I gotta do that shifter. And that shifter is just so unorthodox for some reason in my mind. There's a button that you have to press and you have to slide it around like a shifter, but it's just not, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Good and bad. First thing on my, let's start with the bad list, because the bad list actually has a few things on it, surprisingly. But these are actual quirks with the vehicle. So the first thing is the gear selector, right? The gear selector is awkward. I've said it a million times already. I'm not gonna beat that horse to death, but you know that's my number one quibble with this vehicle, is that gear selector. Second thing, it doesn't roll along. I know that's a stupid thing, but you feel like you always have to give it throttle. And it doesn't have a smooth, long roll. It doesn't just coast. And with all of these like boost, mild hybrid setups, and you have this I-stop feature, which shuts the motor off while you're driving down the road sometimes. When you go down a hill and you let off the throttle and it's going down a hill or on a straight, no incline or no decline, flat plane, it turns off the motor. And I don't know if that's the M hybrid boost kicking in then and like pushing you along, but it's kind of unsettling when you see your RPMs just drop off when you're doing 50 miles an hour down a hill. It's just weird. And maybe that's something you get used to as you go, and maybe you don't even notice it sometimes when you're driving, but I noticed it a lot. I noticed it a ton when I was driving in Ohio this week, and it's just weird. The final thing on the bad list is the price. Is it really worth $61,000 or more, depending on the option list you get for something like this? I tend to think it kind of is. It's a very well-made SUV overall. It's a very well-crafted and well-engineered SUV overall. I like the way it looks. The all-wheel drive system was awesome, and we'll go over that. But I don't know if people are gonna pay that. We'll see. Good list. Let's start with design. The outside design, like we walked around the outside and looked at, is top-notch. Very well done, very well executed. Smooth lines, bright lights, high-tech emblems. It just looks great. Hop on the inside, and the interior design and feel is just as luxurious as you would expect. It's actually more luxurious than you would expect, at least that I expected. I like the way everything feels. Love the leather steering wheel. The seats are super comfortable. The kids had no problem getting in and out of the back. The third row is decent enough for children. I don't know about young adults. The technology's good in here. The CarPlay works well. The Bose sound system, when you have it tuned the way you want it, I mean, it sounds just as good as all those other fancy systems that are out there nowadays. And I'm an audiophile. I like my music. I like to listen to it, and I like to listen to it loud. And this thing is capable of really, really playing good music. The next thing on my good list is the lighting. Lighting and the all-wheel drive. It's very subtle, but it works. And the exterior lighting is all LED, and they've changed it up a little bit from previous models of Mazdas, and it has just a tiny little bit different feel to it, and it's great. It looks wonderful. It's very bright at nighttime, and the high beams are especially really well done. They shine above and beside the low beams, and it creates another layer of super bright white light. And high beams, especially if you live in an area like I do, in Western PA or other places where you have a lot of dimly lit country roads, or not lit at all country roads, high beams are essential to get around at night. Last but not least, the all-wheel drive system. The all-wheel drive system got put to the test, and on a gravel road, I was taking my clients to see a house. And the gravel road that we went on was, it went down, it was rutted, it was slag, gravel, and it was pushed all over the place. And then we had to go up a very steep incline with that same gravel issue. And this car didn't spin tire, I don't even think one time. It maybe slid a little bit going down the hill when I was leaving, just because of my braking techniques. But the car itself climbed up the hill with hardly any issue. And it was fantastic. I don't have any other, experience with the all-wheel drive system, no snow or nothing like that to talk about. But gravel's a good indicator of slip and grip and of shipping the power where it needs to go. It seemed to pass it with flying colors. All right, now we're getting on the highway. I want you to hear the motor. I want you to hear the inline turbo 6 in action in the 8-speed. It's not loud, but it has a nice mechanical motor sound to it that I'm hoping comes through the speakers and you can hear it. So I'm coming up to my favorite off-camber turn here. Checking to see what kind of cars we got coming. And we got a truck. Oh yeah, listen to that. Sounds good. It does. It has a strong metallic motor sound that sounds good in my opinion. It sounds very even and balanced. And I'm not going to be able to get on it again because there's too much traffic, but it does. It sounds good. Car Dad build this week. Real cars, real people for real life. I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you guys next time.